Hello and welcome to TalkFCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys, and welcome here to round 22 in La Liga, which sees Barcelona come up against an in-form Valencia side, coming live, of course, from the Camp Nou. Can we follow up our fantastic Copa del Rey victory in midweek against Sevilla? Real heroics to come back, not only come back, but really convincingly win against Sevilla there. And can we continue our 8-game winning streak in La Liga, the longest winning streak in the league in Ernesto Valverde's career? Or will Valencia's own miraculous comeback in the Cup in midweek give them the ammunition to cause a shock here? We're hoping not, and we're going to be finding out with everything you need to know coming right up. It's the match preview. Kickoff will be coming to us at 6:30 local time from the Camp Nou, which should be a really good time on Saturday that should attract a good crowd. In such a big game like this, we will need our fans right behind us as they were in midweek. We need a lot more in on Saturday to see us take on Valencia. And when we look here at your predictions, guys, clearly there is a lot of confidence right now in the Barcelona camp, fresh from that brilliant victory against Sevilla. Half of you opting for a win here by 3+ goals, and a lot of you, to be fair, also voting for a win by 2 goals. I would certainly take that. And elsewhere in La Liga this weekend, Sevilla will be joining us playing on Saturday. They faced a very tough trip to Celta Vigo in the game after hours on Saturday night, whereas the Madrid teams will be in action on Sunday, with Atletico Madrid facing a really stern test at the Benito Villamarín, where they will face Real Betis, and third place Real Madrid will be playing 5th placed Alaves at the Santiago Bernabeu. And of course, later on in this video, we will be discussing the big Copa del Rey draw. And when you look at the La Liga table right now, I think we'll certainly see some sort of movement this weekend. When you look at that there, with those kind of fixtures, a lot of tough games, a lot of really good teams coming up against the top 3 this weekend, I think we're going to see at least one of us drop points, if not more of us. And as always, it's our job, and only our job, to ensure that it's not us that's failing to win. And that will not be an easy task, because Valencia are a side that are certainly in form right now. They took their time to get going at the start of the season, remember. Earlier on when we faced them, they were really struggling. They had a bad start. Marcelino was finding it tough. They couldn't score any goals at all. But suddenly they've returned to some form and they've risen to 7th place in La Liga, and they're just 3 points away from being in 5th. They've won 4 out of their last 5 games in all competitions, and they are certainly starting to find the back of the net now a lot more often, and that's really due to the form of Rodrigo Moreno, who has been brilliant in recent weeks for Valencia. And it was indeed Rodrigo who was the star of Valencia in their midweek Copa del Rey heroics against Getafe. We thought we had a miraculous comeback. Well, Valencia's comeback was something quite special indeed. They left it late and it got a bit bloody even after the final whistle, but they did beat Getafe over those 2 legs. They were originally 1-0 down from the first leg, and almost immediately they went 1-0 down at Mestalla, and clearly the crowd on their backs. They rose against that. They got back into the game. Rodrigo scoring his first goal in the 61st minute, then another one in the 92nd minute. Valencia were 2-2 on aggregate. Getafe were due to go through on away goals, but Rodrigo got his 3rd goal, his hat-trick goal, and booked Valencia's place in the semi-finals with a 93rd minute winner. So we'll certainly be meeting a Valencia side here who are high on confidence, really riding the wave after that kind of victory. But again, if there are questions about how much energy we conserved in our midweek comeback, the same has to be said there of Valencia, who worked really hard, not only in those 90 minutes, but like I say, it went on even after the final whistle with the altercations between the Getafe players. There was a lot of energy, a lot of really high intensity play there from Valencia, and they do have a smaller squad. So I would have thought if anyone's going to suffer, it would be them instead of us. And to be honest, when you're talking about Barcelona, it's not really tiredness from our point of view that I'm worried about going into this game on the back of that Sevilla game. For me, it's about ensuring that we don't suffer a big drop-off here in intensity in our play, because following a big game, a big comeback like that, you've got to keep that kind of momentum going. You can't really afford to take your foot off the pedal and just relax, because if you do that, Valencia are a good team and they're going to hurt you, because they right now are massively confident they're going to be just as up for this game coming to the Camp Nou, and we've got to stay on that kind of level that we showed against Sevilla. We can't afford to drop off after a comeback. We can't afford to sort of let that momentum die, and the crowd have got to help us there. We're hoping to see a good crowd at the Camp Nou on Saturday. They've got to really help the players, pick them up, help them along, strong, because remember that game against PSG, of course, we came back 6-1, it was incredible. We then went a few days later to Deportivo, we relaxed, we took our foot off the gas, we lost the game. So we cannot afford that kind of mistake to happen. We've got to be up for this game just as much as we were for Sevilla, if not even more so, because given the confidence and the form of Valencia, it's going to be a really, really tough game, and it always has been. Because when you look at our last 5 meetings against Valencia, it has been really, really tough going. In those last 5 games, we dropped points on 2 occasions, one of those coming earlier on this season at the Mestalla against Valencia, and the victories that we have recorded against them, they've been very, very slender ones. We had to work really hard for them by a single goal, and only once have we won by 2 goals. That was in the Copa del Rey when Felipe Coutinho got his first Barcelona goal. And speaking of the Copa, of course, I cannot help but bring you the news on the semi-final draw, which also includes Valencia. Valencia will play Betis, and it has been confirmed that we will be facing none other than Real Madrid over 2 legs. The first coming at the Camp Nou on February the 6th. That's just a few days away. That is next Wednesday. El Clasico is coming to town, with the second leg at the Santiago Bernabeu scheduled for February the 27th. So a bit more of a gap there between the 2 legs. That comes though just 3 days before our league meeting against Real, which is again at the Bernabeu. So we've got Clasico this Wednesday, a Clasico at the end of the month, and another Clasico in the league at the start of March. Strap yourselves in, folks, because this is going to be a tough month of fixtures when you factor in as well our Champions League first leg against Lyon, that's in February, and also away league trips to Athletic Bilbao and Sevilla. We are in here for some entertainment and some excitement. Well, at least we're hoping so. And certainly based on those fixtures, guys, I'm absolutely sure that you'll agree, over the next few weeks and over those games there, you've got to sort of implement some sort of rotation, but it's going to be very difficult because you look at the strength of those games, very, very good teams, and it's all about where you play that little bit of rotation, and I think the key to that is just introducing just 1 or 2 players every now and then. In none of those games really, apart from Valladolid there, can you afford to go too crazy, and especially this game against Valencia, I would expect Valverde to still go very strong, to give that attacking lineup, and certainly similar to what we saw against Sevilla. And it's because of that reason that I would go with something along these kind of lines here. Of course, Marc-Andre ter Stegen is going to return in goal, no doubt about that whatsoever. And then I think Semedo probably is going to come in down that right-hand side. Obviously, Sergio Roberto got that brilliant goal against Sevilla, but at the same time, those 2 have rotated, Copa del Rey, then League, and I'd expect Semedo to be back in for this one. I would expect one of the 2 centre-backs to be rotated here, either Longley or Gerard Piqué. I'm here going to go with the left side of Longley, and I think while he's fit, you've got to play Thomas Mullin. While he's still fit, while he's able to play, certainly I would utilise him, get the best out of him there, and he can certainly come in and play in this kind of game. Jordi Alba, of course, certainly expected to start. We've not got a lot of other options. I think then in midfield, you might see somebody like Sergio Busquets rotated, simply because he's one of the players who can't really continually play those games, and you don't want to overwork him. So Rakitic this season has been only too capable of just dropping into that area here, and then of course that promotes Arturo Vidal to the starting lineup to start in that midfield alongside Arthur Melo, who was brilliant against Sevilla. And then I think I wouldn't really mess around with the front 3 whatsoever. Obviously, as the game goes on, if we're in a good position, you can certainly see the likes of Malcolm Dembele, not quite ready of course with his fitness yet to make this game, but he may well be in line to return ahead of that Clasico next Wednesday. Coutinho of course bagged himself 2 goals, and for that reason, you've got to start him. Keep him in the team, keep that confidence going. Coutinho there from the left, Messi from the right, and Luis Suarez down the middle. Like I say, if in the game we're doing very well, then you can rotate those players and maybe bring on Kevin Prince Boateng in the final stages for Luis Suarez. But Valencia are a very good side. We don't want to underestimate them. They can be very, very tricky, even at home. We've seen that in the past. Go strong here, make 1 or 2 very small tweaks, but overall, keep a strong lineup. And with that kind of team in mind, guys, of course now it is time for my prediction. I have to say, I am expecting in this game a really, really tough match against Valencia. It always is. And for that reason, I'm going to go with a slender victory at that. Barcelona 2, Valencia 1 at the Camp Nou. And right now, I would take that. It's going to be a tough one. Coming off the back of that Sevilla game, we have to make sure our attitude is right. But I'm still going to back us for a victory. 2-1 on Saturday evening. Leave me your predictions down below, guys. What are your thoughts on the team? And of course, the score. And don't forget to let me know all about your reaction to that Copa del Rey semi-final clash against Real Madrid. There's a lot to look forward to I'll see you tomorrow for the big match. But until then, as always, Visca el Barça!